Yo, what's good, y'all? It's your boy AJ,
It's your boy Nick.
and this is Hip Hop Vibes, the podcast. What's pop with you, homie?
Ain't nothing, bro. More life, more life, more life, more blessings. How
Bet,
about you,
bet,
man?
bet.
How
Same
about
old
you, bro?
shit, different toilet.
There you go. We basically said the same thing.
Right.
Just different ways.
Different versions, right.
Yes, sir.
But no, man, tell about today's topic.
Yeah, so today's topic, we're gonna do a little album review. It is gonna be from a bird's eye view. By we'll discuss this where he's from, because I want to say Maryland or North Carolina. I don't know which one they say. His bio says Maryland, and I think he was born in Waldorf, but then I thought he grew up in North Carolina. So whatever. He is a mid-Atlantic rapper, Cordae. Yeah, man. So I'll start with it. Like So I mean, where I'm coming from as a rap listener in 2022, a lot of what I listen to is like party rap and like club shit. Like that's a lot of what I'm listening to.
Okay.
And so this for me, like from that context, I'm listening to a lot of like right now because of the beats I produce. I listen to a lot of like Megan Thee Stallion and all the people trying to be Megan Thee Stallion type shit. I'm listening to a lot of that because that's the beats I produce. So I'm coming from that angle. Listening to this album was definitely refreshing because for me, it wasn't so one trick pony, like this is my sound or this is my flow and this is what I talk about every fucking time. And it wasn't just about club shit. You know what I mean? I think he had a variety of different songs on there. He had a song like Mama's Hood, which is probably one of my favorite ones just because of the vibe of it. I just like the vibe of that one. It's just kind of a slow, kind of like sultry, boom bap with a little bit of trap in the beat, and it's just kind of slow and it's got a nice chorus. He sings it real nice. That's probably my favorite one out of the batch, maybe close. But then he also had songs that were like Today that were for me very like radio ready. That was his like radio song with a very very modern trap beat, and he sounded totally normal on that, just like he did on Mama's Day. He's got some versatility. And then I also like the fact that he had a couple tracks that where he featured hip hop legends like Wayne and Eminem to sort of showcase his lyrical skills, which in terms of commercial rappers is way above average for 2022. He's way above average. Obviously, Eminem, it's hard to compete when Eminem does like I think 32 bars on Parables remix. It's hard to compete with that, but it was cool. Yeah. Like songs like Sinister. I like Wayne. And I liked Cordae. I wish they had like traded verses though. They didn't do that. I wish they had. But yeah, he sounded cool. That was like a cool boom bap beat. Yeah, man. Like Westlake High had a really dope soul sample vibe, and he beautiful soul sample vibe. Very, very reminiscent of J. Cole. And as an artist, he often reminds me of J. Cole. But actually, I'll say my favorite song on the album was Gifted. Because for me, it was just like catchy and it was like sunny and kind of, it was like just a vibe. It was like a summertime vibe for me.
Oh, yeah, that's Joe Roddy Ricch, right?
That's the one with Roddy Ricch. I thought that was interesting the way like this. They have very different styles, but it's still like it worked together. Like, and it's interesting how they like patch the verses together. Like they're both in different places, like, but it sounded really cool. But yeah, man, like overall, I mean, I thought it was a good album. Like I said, his lyrical skills are above average for 2022. His versatility in terms of the kind of songs he made, he can make a radio catchy joint. He can make something that's a little more reflective, like introspective, like a J. Cole type shit. Talk about, his feelings or where he grew up, whatever. Above average. But what I would say, and we talked about this briefly before the show, after listening to this album, I went back to listen to his old shit. And I was like, his old shit is way better. I'm sorry, but I think the last album, Lost Boy, was a lot better. And that sort of his impact. I had like an idea, I had like a score and everything. But once I listened to the old one, I was like, wait, I don't know. I don't know, man. It made me reconsider everything. Actually, I don't really like scores, so I'm not even gonna give them a number because people get so attached to these fucking numbers. Like, I'm not even gonna give a number. I would just say it was good. It was a good album, but I think he could do way better. That's all. That's what I'll say. Now I want to hear what you have to say too. That's what I would say.
All right. Well, I definitely did like the whole J. Cole comparison. Good. Because that definitely does fit him. Because, like, you know, J. Cole, he's lyrical, but he also could do, like, the commercial shit. He can kill a feature when needed. Even when it's not needed, he's still going to kill the shit regardless. But he definitely knows how to make an album. I felt like it was well put together, especially the intro. Because the intro is kind of like a mini sum up of, like, his life growing up until this point, you know, being in the streets and all that shit, and like his mom, you know, doing his thing and doing her thing and all that shit, and then like friends getting locked up and all that type shit. So yeah, and now all that within like what, a minute and a half, if that. So I definitely love the intro. That's probably one of my favorite songs. That and what's the name of the other joint he did that I fuck with? I think it was Super. No, Want For Me. Want For Me was my favorite.
What do you want from me?
Yeah. And I kind of had like a groovy, funky type vibe to it. That's why I fuck with that one. And then of course the features, you had Lil Wayne, you had Eminem, Roddy Ricch, even had Stevie Wonder on the joint.
I just saw that. I was like, oh shit! Like, what did he do on it though? Like,
he was playing the harmonica.
Yeah, he did the harmonica. Yeah.
And then who else? Yeah, you had Freddie Gibbs.
Yeah, her, yeah, Lil Durk.
Yeah. Gunna. I think Gunna was on the joint too, right?
Yeah, Gunna was on it. Yeah.
So you know what I'm saying? He had like a mixture of like newer artists and like, you know, the older artists about like Wayne and Eminem and all that. So I definitely fuck with the I guess versatility of the album. And it's funny, like how you say like you went back and listened to the first one, because I was thinking about doing that shit too. Because I haven't heard his Lost Boy in a minute. It's been a minute.
Yeah. Me too.
It's been a minute since I heard it.
Yeah.
So I definitely need to go back and like listen to that and like compare the two. But all in all, I say it was a very great project, a very good project. Probably what I say is my favorite project thus far for 2022. One of my favorites. I'm trying to remember what all else came out this year.
Don't ask me, bro. You're the one that's good for that shit. I can never like keep track of what.
I'm really trying to remember, but it's probably one of my favorites thus far. It's funny because we talk about J. Cole. Because we talked about this before the show too. That Dreamville just dropped their mixtape, D-Day. You should definitely listen to that shit too, especially that shit for sure. They all killed that shit. It was a little short though for me, but compared to their last Dreamville album. But I'm gonna let you be the judge of that. What would you say is probably your top 3 favorite songs from the album?
Gifted, Mama's Hood, and probably Today. That's what I would say.
Any particular reasons?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, Mama's Hood, I like the chorus on that one. It's kind of slow. It feels like just kind of chill. It's real chill. I like the chill vibe of that one. Gifted, I thought it was catchy. It kind of made me feel good. It's kind of as a feel good kind of like message, you know what I mean? Just feeling gifted, like just enjoying life, you know what I mean? And I like the beat. And then today I really like the beat. The way it sounded in the car the other day driving home from work, it was just so fantastic. I was like, yeah, I love that shit. For the beat, probably more than anything else. So those were my top 3. What about you?
For me, my favorite was Shallow's intro, Want For Me, and what's the joint with Lil Wayne on it? Sinister. Yeah.
That one's dope too, actually. That's probably, I like that one. I like that chorus.
Yeah, and Lil Wayne was in his bag with that joint too, for real.
He killed that shit, bro.
Yeah. You said you went back and listened to Lost Boy, right?
Yeah, I did, because I was like, because this is an interesting topic too. Like, one thing I noticed, actually, I'll shout out to my brother, Chris. He listens to a lot of hip hop and put me on a lot of shit. But one thing I remember, he likes like follows music critics and shit. I used to be interested in like Pitchfork a bit more and shit, like just read what they had to say. And one thing he always got mad about was like, why does Pitchfork give J. Cole like 6s on all his albums? Like the album is good and it's like better than most of these other artists or whatever. And a reason why I'm mentioning this is because I actually did read some of those reviews, for example, with J. Cole, and they were always like, okay, J. Cole is crazy talented, but he never quite like delivers or does quite like, as good as he could, for whatever reason. That's what their opinion was, right? I agree and disagree, but regardless, I feel like I wanted to hear his old project because I feel like when I give an opinion on an artist, I want to give an opinion on like what they're capable of. You know what I mean? Like a basketball player can have a bad day. You know what I mean? He could play like poorly, but you know he like in this season he'll average 25 points a game. But he might have had an off game where he only scored 12 points. Next game he scored 35. You know, it evens it out. Whatever. I judge an artist on like how good are they really? Like how good are they in general? And so when I went back to listen to Lost Boy, I was like, well, it kind of influenced a little bit of how I felt about this album because the last album was really fucking good. Like the last album was really good. Like listening to the tracks, like it reminded me of like J. Cole at his best, which is like J. Cole's one of my top 10 rappers. Like it really moving shit. Like he had a way of like just summing shit up and just in a way you just felt that shit. Like you just felt it. And that I would say he did that better. I think his last album was more soulful than this one. This one had some cool shit. It was good, but like I think I would hope that he could I hope he could take a little bit more of what he did on the album before and sort of fuse it in the next one. Because I feel like I thought that some of his rapping on the one before was a little bit better. So that's why I'm not saying like, for example, I'm not gonna say, okay, this new album is a classic. While it was good, but like he could do better. So it's like, you know what I mean? Like I actually think he has a classic like in him. I actually believe that.
It's possible.
He's young as shit. Like he's young as shit. He's like 22 or something. Like it's something like 22 or 23, whatever. I mean, he's very, very talented. So yeah, like that's sort of the reason why I went back to listen to it because I was like, who is Cordae again? Like I had to kind of refresh myself. Like, okay, yeah, this is
24.
Yeah, so I would definitely say listen to that one again because that one was like, I'm pissed I didn't listen to it as much, man. Especially during the pandemic, that was some good shit in it. Like that was some really just really good shit.
Would you say that he suffered from like the whole sophomore curse type thing?
Oh, that's a good question. Maybe because like you have your whole life to make the first album. Like I think a lot of artists have said this, but you have your whole life to make that first album. You know what I mean? So it's like even though he was young, like I think Jay said this too about Reasonable Doubt. Like he had 26 years before he made that album, and so you do have a lot of like story to tell. And he told a lot of story.
More hunger.
A little more hunger. Yeah, like so. Maybe a little bit. I wouldn't say this wasn't like a flop though. It wasn't a flop to me at all.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't a flop. It just wasn't as good. It just wasn't as good for me as the last one. But it's still good. It's still good. Don't get me wrong. It's still good.
No, I feel that. Like the main song I remember from Lost Boy is was it Wintertime? I think was the first track.
Fucking good, man.
That was definitely my favorite track. He killed that shit.
That was so good. He reminds me of J. Cole at times, man. Like heavy. There was one track way back home. Listen to that one. I was like, damn, he sounds just like J. Cole. Where he was singing and rapping. And me personally, I like to see him. I like to see artists that like I said this on the last show, but pay respect to people that came before him. I always like that. Like you can hear in his voice that like. you know, a lot of rappers now, they freestyle all their lyrics. You know what I mean? Like you think about like a Young Thug, it's all off the top of the dome. Half the shit he's saying, you don't even know what he's saying. But like this dude writes his lyrics. You could tell he's thinking about shit. I do like and sort of miss those like the Nas's of the rap game. They used to really just write. They used to write. Like it's a different feel because just like I could say some shit right now, it's not going to be as articulate if I like wrote an essay. I sat down and had like an hour to figure out what I was going to say. That's one thing Cordae has going for him because he clearly, like a J. Cole, he thinks about what he's saying and he's thoughtful. I like that, man. I really like that about him. I like that shit.
Yeah. He's definitely a rare breed, especially in this generation, with this new generation. Yeah, he's definitely a rare breed because there's only like a handful. Like I don't want to say I don't want to say commercial, but like as far as like you know more known artists out right now, he's like a rare breed. Like who else could you put in his class? That's in his generation. Right.
I don't know.
Exactly.
Not really anybody. I mean, I'm trying to think. Like, that kind of says it all. I don't know.
Because everybody else was like before him, like Joey Badass, Kendrick, like Cole, like that's all like a generation before him, or like, well, I ain't gonna say generation, but like a different class.
I actually think Joey Badass is a good, like, even though he's older, he's like 5 or so years older than him. I think Joey Badass is a good example though, because Joey Badass to me, when he read like 1999, when he put that shit out, he was like way the fuck ahead of his time on that shit.
Yeah, he was like what 16? He was still in high school when he made that shit.
He was like 17 years old. I remember me and my friends were like, "Oh my fucking god, he's like our age. What the fuck?" Like he put up, he's rapping like he's like 30. You know what I mean? And then like the fact that he like just understood 90s rap so well, I felt so vindicated. I was like, wow, I'm not the only person that's just like stuck in the 90s. Like this motherfucker really he understood it. Like, yeah.
He literally had a song about that too, stuck in the 90s.
Yeah, like cool. I would say like, yeah, like he's kind of like one of those artists with he's got a lot of promise, the same way Joey Badass did. I feel like he does have a lot of promise. I mean, they're different artists, but if you know what I'm saying, like
I get it.
They got the skill, Yeah, I can't really think of anybody to compare him to.
And also like how like artists like that, they don't try to put an album out like every fucking year.
Oh yes.
Like they actually try to take their time with the shit.
Yes, dude. Yes. Like that. Yeah, bro. You take a second just to think about it, shit.
Right.
Like you said, like it had even this album had a good flow to it. Like the little skits and like you said, the one in the beginning with the like on the phone with like that storyline that like, they clearly like thought about the album. Like, okay, we're gonna put this here, and like they knew what they were doing to create an album. You don't see that quite as much as you used to.
Yeah, like everybody's so like pressed to like hurry up and get the money, get the streams and shit. Like they gotta push something out like quick as fuck.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like and that's just like music in general. Like, for example, look at somebody like R&B wise. Look at what's my name? Usher. Like he dropped what 8701 like in 01. And then he dropped Confessions in 04. Was it 04? Yeah, 04. 03, 04. Yeah. Like that's a whole 3-year difference.
Yeah.
And like a lot can happen in 3 years. So you can put all that shit into that next album.
And you heard the difference. Like you heard the maturity difference between them two. Like, you know what I mean? Like you can hear that. Like
right.
Or
even like Kendrick Lamar. from like Good Kid, Mad City to Pimp a Butterfly to Damn.
Sometimes I'm like, did he go through a time warp or some shit? Because I swear between his albums, like he like, I don't know how he did it, but he does more evolution in between 2 albums than most artists do in their whole fucking lifetime, bro. Like, I don't know how he did that shit, but like you said, like Good Kid, Mad City, 3 years later he did To Pimp a Butterfly, and you can hear that difference, like you said, you can hear those 3 years, just like Usher, it did like changes the sound, changes everything.
Like even Logic does that shit too. Like he
Mm.
dropped what Under Pressure and when he dropped that, I think
20, I think it was
2012,
2013, I think it was, or
2013, like
something
that.
like that.
Yeah, and then like maybe like a year and a half later, he dropped the Incredible True Story, which is a whole literal story within itself. And then after that, he dropped Everybody. Then he dropped Young Sinatra 4. Like all of them were concepts,
Concepts. Yeah,
concept
there you go.
albums,
There you go.
and that's rare too. Like concept albums, like that's rare nowadays.
It is. It definitely is. Because like you said, like if you're just like freestyling it, sort of just like throwing shit out, whenever you're done with it, just throwing it out, you don't really have the time to sit back and be like, okay, what's gonna be my concept? You
Right.
don't have time for that. You don't have time for that shit. You're just like, whatever. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Let them just hear the music. And I think to your point though, I think you summed it up really well though when you said it's really just about the money and the streams, because I think that really is what's pushing that. You know what I mean? That
Facts.
it's a commercial model of like doing business. Like we put some shit out every week and try to dominate it that way, as opposed to let the people wait. Like I always think like another good example that I always think about is Michael Jackson. You go back in the 80s. Dog, Off the Wall came out in 79. And then in 83, Thriller came out. And then it was 87. Was it Dangerous? Is that the name of the album?
I think so.
Bad, I think it's Bad or something.
No, I think Bad came out like, was it 90?
No, Bad came out in 87, and then
that was okay.
Dangerous came out in 90. My point is, like, for Michael Jackson, arguably the biggest artist of all time. Even he knew, let me take time between these albums. Let me let people digest the shit. Let me come back. Like the going from Jackson 5 to Off the Wall to Thriller, like, and then to Bad, like.
You're right. It was 87. You're right. My bad.
It was like that's what I think. Actually, that's a good point, because it also connects back to Cordae. I talk about evolution. Like I could see him actually evolving as an artist.
Right.
It's hard.
He's only like what, 24? I think 24.
He's only 24, man, and like you see plenty of artists. Even age isn't even like age is important, but like look at Kanye too. Like Kanye started popping at 30 or whatever, like 29, I think it was, or some shit like that. Like. But again, he's another good example. I think you would agree, of somebody who he took time between albums. Like he took a little time, and then you heard, like, I always remember hearing in my brother's bedroom where we had listened to College Dropout 2003 or 2004, and then when I heard Diamonds Are for Diamonds, I was like, on the radio, I was like, what the fuck this is different. Like, he took time to evolve his shit, and that's important, man. Like, people should take their time with shit. Don't rush everything.
Hell yeah. Good old Kanye. Old Kanye.
I said old Kanye.
Or even somebody like fucking Tyler, the Creator. Like all his albums like concepts
that's a good one. That's a good one too. Yep.
And then the man had like 7 albums. Like he had 3 albums that were kind of like dark. Then he had that one kind of like transition album. Then his last 3 was more. I don't want to say more musical, but you can definitely tell that he like, what's the word I'm looking for? That he grew musically.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I feel like there was more diversity. It was more varied. It was a little more more filled out, a little more lush. Yeah,
exactly,
definitely.
Like he gets better with every project.
That makes him very rare, bro. That's a very rare. He's definitely creative geniuses.
And I seen him in concert last month too. Like he killed that shit.
Oh, nice. Like, where'd you see him at?
He was in DC.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was him, Vince Staples, Kali Uchis. Like he rocked that shit. Had mosh pits and all that.
Oh, shit. Yeah, man. There's not too many artists that do that, man.
Facts. But yeah, you definitely dropped that J. Cole joint. I might play some shit for you after the show.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, man. Let's do it, man. Absolutely.
Yeah. I gotta listen to it again so I can give it like a full legit review.
Yeah, we can
But
do that next. We can do that next show or something. We can do it.
yeah, we could do that. Yeah, for sure. It has more guests on the show too for that one. Hopefully, we'll see.
That sounds really good.
All right. Oh, before we finish this, real quick, Will Smith. What are your thoughts?
The slap heard round the world.
The slap heard around the world.
Oh man. Where do I begin with that shit? Like, oh man, like I'm not God. I'm not really in terms of judging somebody else or assessing. But what I would say is some people are making such a big fucking deal out of this shit. For me, like a slap between two men, a slap is a symbolic. It's more symbolic of just disrespect. Like the time that Mano slapped Young Berg. I don't know if you heard that story. But that shit's some funny as shit.
Damn, I do remember that.
Just because he's acting like a fucking moron. Like for me, no, that's not felony assault, bro. It's not that big of a deal. Yeah, Will Smith got a little messy, but I can understand where that shit's coming from. I actually have an autoimmune disease myself, so I actually can understand where some of that shit is coming from. Why you want to defend your wife? I completely understand that shit. And Chris Rock, to his defense, he took it like a champ. He got slapped, and he was first thing he said was, "Damn, I got slapped by Will Smith." Kept it pushing. They clearly like it wasn't a big deal. It wasn't like Chris Rock got hit, started crying, and started running around the stage, or he tried to start fighting Will Smith. No, He got slapped. You think that's the first time Chris Rock got slapped for saying crazy shit? He's Chris Rock. He says crazy shit all the time. He says crazy shit. Like I'm sure he's been slapped before. It's not that big of a deal. He was like, all right, whatever, and kept it moving. No, I don't think Will Smith should face any charges. I don't think Will Smith should face any get his Oscar taken away. That said, if I was at the show, I'd be like, damn, man, could you have maybe done that shit like behind closed doors and smacked them up? Like you know what I mean? It was just messy. If I was there, I wouldn't necessarily be on stage, dapping him up, like, oh yeah, bro, let's go, like hyping him up or anything. I get where he's coming from, but for me, I mean, I'm just more of a person that like I'd rather do that shit behind closed doors and and let that shit end up whatever way it's gonna be. But that's just me. Like I mean, I would have handled things differently, but I'm not Will Smith. And at the end of the day, he's a fucking legend. And let's give a black man a fucking break when it comes to this shit in a Hollywood environment that's already extremely hostile to people of color. That last year alone had like no people of color for any fucking awards. Like let's just like let's fucking Will Smith, bro. Like he's done so much good shit. Like people getting super hard on him for no fucking reason. It makes me kind of wonder, like, what you guys are racist or something? Like, what is the problem? He fucking slapped the guy. Like, big deal. Donald Trump tells people to go like burn the fucking White House, and he's free. So if he's free, Will Smith should be free as a fucking bird. That's all I got to say. That's it.
Facts.
What do you got to say, bro?
No, I just feel the same way. I feel like, I mean, is Will Smith wrong? No. I don't think he's wrong.
I don't think he was wrong.
Could he handle it better? Possibly. But I mean, it is what it is. It happened. It's done. My man's got his Oscar now. Fuck it. Fuck it.
He does.
Fuck it. You know what I'm saying? Like he got his Oscar. Who else got the Oscar? I think Samuel L. Jackson got his Oscar too.
Questlove got his Oscar.
Questlove got an Oscar, yeah. So like,
I'm sorry, I just crack it up because you saw the clip with when he went on stage when Samuel L. Jackson dapped him up.
Yeah. Like, good job, motherfucker. I've been wanting to slap that motherfucker for years.
Like, it's so clear. I'm sorry, were you done? Because I just had
no, yeah, you go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, okay, all this bullshit, like Alec Baldwin talking about. He's the wrong person to be talking about that shit. First of all,
did you just shoot somebody, kill somebody?
And he's talking about violence. That violence made him scared. Yeah, fucking right.
All right.
But my point was with Will Smith, like all this shit, all these fucking pussies on Twitter, like trying to drag him and shit after the event. Half these people didn't do shit or were clapping when he went on stage anyway. And like for me, Will Smith won that shit. Like he won. People were mad. I think people were mad or salty about that shit. Like, because he not only won his award, slapped the man on stage, defended his wife, then got dapped up by pretty much everybody, won his award, and went home. That motherfucker won. He just won that shit.
Right.
Like, he just won. And I wouldn't even say Chris Rock took an L because Chris Rock was like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah,
like,
it's Chris Rock.
You know what I mean? Like, it's all good. It's all good. So I'm happy that Will Smith got his award. He won that shit. Like, he won that shit. So
so like yesterday, like I saw this shit on Facebook. It's like a website called like slapchris.com or some shit like that. It's literally a game where you slap Chris Rock. But here's the funniest shit. The funniest shit is if you get like at least like 30 like kilometers with a slap. But if you get to like 30 kilometers, it starts playing and getting jiggy with it.
Oh my god,
bro! Like I died, bro. Let me see if I can find that shit real quick, yeah. I gotta find that shit real quick, bro. I gotta find it now, bro. I have to find it. Here it is. Oh, hold on. I just found it. I'm about to share it. I'm about to share the screen. Hold on.
That's fucking hilarious. You always find the funniest shit, bro.
Right.
I don't know how you find that shit. That's hilarious.
Oh, they switched it. They switched it to Will Smith. That's funny. Hold on. Why they switch it? Hold on. Oh, yeah. Y'all ain't shit. They had Chris Rock on here the other day. Y'all ain't shit for that.
No, look at the top, bro. It says April Fools. Click here to go back to.
Oh shit. Okay. I was about to say, what the hell?
Oh. Oh my god, bro! Right. I can't even breathe. That shit.
I'm done.
Oh my god. Oh my god, that is hilarious. Let's jiggy with it. You saw Chris Rock's face.
Right.
Oh my god, that is hilarious.
Oh man. Had to end that on a laugh, on a good laugh.
Yes, sir. That was a good way to end it.
Right. Yeah. This was a very good episode. I'm your boy AJ.
Your boy Nick.
This Hip Hop Advisor podcast. We'll catch you next time. Later.